Welcome to the Talk Like a Leader podcast, where we explore the mindset, skill set, and habit set of leadership communication. Using these tips, techniques, and tactics, you'll be able to talk like a leader to build better relationships and get more done. Your host is Guy Harris, who has more than 20 years of combined professional and military experience in consulting, coaching, and training in areas like team and interaction dynamics, communication strategies and tactics, as well as emotional intelligence. Take it away, Guy.
Hi, this is Guy Harris. Welcome to the Talk Like a Leader podcast. This week's episode is titled Control What You Can. And the genesis of the idea for this week's podcast really starts last week in a training class I was leading. It was built around our Bud to Boss content, the book and training course that I wrote/developed with my friend and colleague Kevin Eikenberry. This course is for frontline leaders, really. So people who have been individual contributors and moved into a leadership role. Now they're leading the team they used to be part of. Sometimes it's people who are just new to leadership and they might not be leading the team they were part of. Ultimately, it's really about the frontline leadership role, that first move into leadership. Some of the participants in the class are really new to leadership, like within the last few months. Some are preparing for leadership. And some might have been in leadership roles for 3, 4, 5 years, and they have either never had the chance to have real formal leadership development conversations, or they're looking for some refreshers and new ideas. Well, basically, the point is that this is people who are frontline leaders. They are typically in an organization that has several layers of leadership. I don't really like the phrase. It's just the best phrase I can come up with at the moment, above them in the hierarchy of the organization. And I say above, not in the sense of a human being being above another, but if you look at a diagram of the organization, diagrammatically above in terms of how organizational flow typically is drawn out. So they work in an environment where many decisions, many changes, business directions, results expectations, many of those kind of things are set externally. They don't have complete control over setting those things for themselves. And as a result, they often feel constrained or bound up, limited in what they're able to do or what they can accomplish. And many times people in this role have basically inherited a team. It's pretty rare that they've had the opportunity to hire all of the team members. And so they're working with a team that they basically inherited from someone else, which means they may or may not have history with people to have developed great relationship and influence with the people on their team. So they're really struggling with how to step into this leadership role and how to communicate about things and how to resolve conflicts and how to coach team members, often coaching team members who have maybe more experience in the specific area than they do. It's a very frustrating and stressful leadership experience. Well, one of the things that I found kept coming up in our conversation was phrases that were around things that they couldn't control anyway. And there were lots of what if type of questions. Things like, what if they don't listen? They being either my team members or my new colleagues or maybe the leaders I report to. What if they don't listen to me? Or what if they don't buy in? Or what if they argue with me? Or what if they aren't motivated? Or what if they don't do what I want them to do? What if they don't do what I ask them to do? And the questions go on and on. It's many of these what-if questions about things that maybe don't turn out the way you want them to or how you wish they turned out. And the point is that the question is a completely valid question. It's a hunt for or search for what are some alternative strategies? What are some different ways to do things? And we got there in our conversations in terms of what's the real answer to those questions. And I'm not trying to minimize the importance of the questions. I just want to draw attention to something that I think is a big mindset shift, especially for people who have recently been individual contributors or moving into a leadership role, want to learn how to talk like a leader. There's a tendency to worry about things we couldn't control anyway, and to invest emotional energy and as a result become frustrated or stressed or irritated, and then to respond out of that frustration or stress or irritation rather than to keep control of what we can control and do the best we can. So the thing we can control, I've probably talked about this in past episodes, is the idea that I can only control myself and you can only control yourself. We can only control ourselves. we actually can't make great predictions about how things turn out in the future. Chip and Dan Heath, in their book Decisive, point to several studies that indicate that even experts in a field are terrible at making predictions, that they're probably good at understanding the history of things and explaining the reasons why things have happened the way they've happened, and they understand historical trends and averages. And if we just project those historical trends and averages forward, we actually get better predictions than if the experts put their feelings or thoughts into predicting the future, trying to anticipate all of the myriad complexities we face. And so even experts aren't awesome. In fact, they're not typically much better than the average person at predicting the future. They can just predict trends. They understand things. And so what that says is that as we engage with people, as we talk with people, we can't predict how they're going to respond any better than we can predict the future. We can only read how they respond and then adjust our response accordingly. There's a phrase in the Decisive book called ooching, which basically is the idea of try something, experiment in a small way, see how it works out, and then implement more of what works. Well, when it comes to communication and conflict resolution and coaching, I would suggest a similar kind of idea. Rather than try to anticipate all the different ways things can go wrong, try to understand patterns, history, typical responses people have, and basically make the assumption that the future will be a lot like the past. Now, the truth is we know that that's not true. It's just that it's probably a better guess than trying to do some kind of predictive algorithm about how people are going to respond or how they're going to perceive what we say. Because we can't control what they can do, and because we can't predict what they can do, we can keep our focus on ourselves and trying to become the best we can be at reading and understanding other people's frustrations, at adjusting and responding to changing situations, those kind of things. And then I'll borrow an idea that I learned from a John Wooden book. The title of the book is Wooden. And so, John Wooden was the winningest coach in NCAA basketball history. He won, I think, 10 championships in 12 years, and I think 7 of them were in a row. I may not have the stats exactly right. The idea is this, that he won lots of NCAA championships in basketball in a relatively short period of time. And I didn't find a direct quote that says this. I'll summarize the collection of things I got from reading John Wooden's perspective, is that the goal he set wasn't so much winning championships. It was on process and preparation and doing your best. In fact, he has a definition of success that has nothing to do with results. It has only to do with how you prepared or what effort you made. In fact, here's a statement directly from the book Wooden. True success is attained only through the satisfaction of knowing you did everything within the limits of your ability to become the very best that you are capable of being. I'll say that again. True success is attained only through the satisfaction of knowing you did everything within the limits of your ability to become the very best that you are capable of being. Said a different way from a speaker, Les Brown. He's an amazing motivational and an inspirational speaker. I heard him in a conference one time say, all you can do is all you can do, and all you can do is enough. Just be sure that whatever you do is all you can do. I'll say that one again too. All you can do is all you can do, and all you can do is enough. Just be sure that whatever you do is all you can do. Now, what's the big picture idea? What's the point I'm trying to get to? One of the ways you can achieve leadership success, one of the ways that you can achieve communication clarity, one of the ways that you can resolve conflicts, coach people with confidence, engage in difficult conversations, is to keep your focus on what you can control, which is you and your responses. You can control your mindset. You can control your behaviors. You can control how you read and study and prepare to be better for the changing situations you face in life. You can control how much effort you put into reflecting on what you've done in the past as experiments in leadership and learn from those experiments, do more of what worked well and do less of what didn't work well. You are in control of the process and the preparation you bring to your leadership role, your leadership communication. So my encouragement really this week is no matter what you do, keep your primary focus on what you can control and make sure you are doing your best. If you do that, you're going to be successful no matter what anybody else does. You can't control what they do. Hopefully you can influence it, by controlling yourself. So for this week, remember to control what you can, which is you, and you can talk like a leader. This has been the Talk Like a Leader podcast. You can listen to this show every week wherever you get your podcast. If you haven't, be sure to subscribe so you never miss an episode. I'm Guy Harris, and thanks for listening.